Hi, everyone. Welcome. Today, my name is Dana Schmidt-Johnson. I'm the community manager of the Ritual Society as well as the House Astrologer. But today we are going to be talking about tarot and astrology, specifically how they connect, how they overlap, and how they work together. And since this is a tarot-focused community with a lot of astrology sprinkled in, I know that this is such a hot topic for all of us. So it's so much of a hot topic that we're going to be devoting August's Ritual Society theme to this connection. And as a result, we have brought in Maisy, a seasoned tarot reader, astrologer, and creator of the Tempest Tarot Deck to walk us through all of it. Hi, Maisy. Thank you so much for being here today.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Well, as you said, I'm an astrologer and a tarot reader. So day to day is filled with readings and of all sorts, tarot readings, birth chart readings. And I just like to dive as deep as I can go into tarot and astrology to really find, I don't know, nuggets of information. And I think part of my motto in this whole journey has been to go deeper than what we've known. So that's kind of that's what I do. I really like to enjoy learning, and I like sharing that knowledge with everybody. So happy to be here.
Fantastic. Tell us a little bit about your own journey. How did you get to this point between tarot and astrology? Which one did you come to first? I'm so curious.
Right. Yeah. I'm a tarot reader first, an astrologer second. I have had, I think I've been reading tarot for about 16 years, and I've been doing astrology, at least professionally, for like 5 years. These are all just guesses, but basically around there. So, and I've been doing tarot professionally for maybe like 7. So yeah, I mean, they kind of overlapped somewhere when I started doing tarot professionally. I kind of got into astrology. And it's actually a funny story because I found a tarot deck in my house. That was my first introduction. No one told me about it. I just like found one, and then I decided that it was really cool and interesting, and so I just read a lot. I went to Barnes and Noble and was in the spiritual section, like every other spiritual loser like me. And so I just read a lot about tarot, and I did dabble in zodiac signs and stuff, but I didn't really learn much about astrology until I worked as an editor, because I in my career, like before I became full-time in tarot reading and stuff, I was a digital journalist, and I ended up falling into horoscope.com and astrology.com as an editor. And that's how I ended up learning so much about astrology, because I had 2 astrologers on either side of me. And I'm obviously into tarot, but I was very fascinated about astrology, and I just like badger them with questions every day about astrology and how it works, and this is what I feel this means, or this transit or this aspect means, and so what does that mean to you, and am I right? Like, and you just develop your own sense as you learn from others. So I really took advantage of those 2.
That is awesome. Not a lot of people get to sit between 2 astrologers and just ask the questions that they have as they come up, right? I'm sure that really solidified then your love of astrology. And then how did you start connecting that to tarot? Where did that connection come in?
Right. Well, I knew most people know that every sign has one card, and it's usually associated with the major arcana. But I started listening to podcasts. I mean, everyone listens to podcasts, and I was listening to one podcast, and I can't remember who it was. Maybe it was Sam Reynolds, but someone was talking about tarot and the connection, and then he said something that just blew my mind, and I was like, "Oh my god!" Um, every single card in the tarot deck is associated with a planet or a zodiac sign. And I just thought that was wild. So then I just dove deeper into the what, and like the how and the why would those zodiac signs be associated with this card, and then you can kind of develop more about what you think about that card based on zodiac elements. So it just adds a whole nother texture to the process. So because I'm an intuitive kind of like creative mind, I just need to learn more. And so when he said that, I just had to continue on with it. And that's how it started. And I dove deeper into the practice, and then I just finished writing a book actually on tarot and astrology together, and how to use them in a compatibility format, so that you can kind of take your regular zodiac sign and divide it into parts based on the cards that you have associated with that zodiac sign, and learning how to put them together. So that's that's coming out sometime in the next, like sometimes next year. But yeah, it's fascinating.
Yes. Wow. So your whole journey, starting from a tarot deck that you found in your house randomly, all the way to now writing your own book about how astrology and tarot are connected. So how are they connected? Like you said, each card, not just the majors, which I think, like you said, a lot of people are familiar. Okay, a planet and a sign are assigned to each of the major cards, but where do the minor cards fit into all of that?
So with the modalities for astrology, they come into play for the minors. So we have cardinal, mutable, and fixed signs. I guess in order it would be cardinal, fixed, and mutable signs. And each of those are associated with numerological sections in the minor arcana. So the cardinal signs are associated with 2, 3, and 4. The fixed signs are 5, 6, 7, and the mutable signs are 8, 9, 10. So when you take that and then you apply it with the elements, so we have cardinal fire, that's Aries. So Aries is 2, 3, 4 of wands. So that covers some of the minor arcana. And then the aces are, since we skipped over the aces and went from 2 to 10, the aces actually cover all of the elements. So Ace of Wands is all the fire signs. And then we have Page, Knight, Queen, and King. And the pages are kind of like aces, where they represent the elements. So Page of Wands, all fire signs. And then Knights are mutable signs, Queens are cardinal signs, and Kings are fixed signs.
Phenomenal. Yeah, that was my first question. I was like, where do the court cards fit in? I feel like court cards are easy to get kind of stuck on, and how do those play? But yeah, that completely makes sense, that it's between the modalities and the elements that all of these things come together. And you can start, if you have an astrology background, you can really start to put that to the tarot cards. And if you have a tarot background, you can really start to put that to astrology.
Right. And if you think more about it, like the more you think about it, the more it makes sense. So like King of Wands is so Leo energy, like that's the fixed fire sign, and King of Wands just reminds me of Leo energy, just like passionate and like out there and look at me and like I'm the ruler, and it's just charismatic and amazing. Anyway, so I just think it's so cool. Additionally, if you think about it this way, I think it's interesting too, where the minors, they cover all those zodiac signs, but it would only make sense that all the planet cards, all the planet tarot cards are in the major arcana, because they're outer, and they're like more effervescent or like esoteric to us. They're up there, away, and they're kind of, I feel like the major arcana has a lot to do with karma and the things that we can't touch, and just really big life moments that are fated for us or moved for us. And I feel like that's what planets do. So I think it's fascinating.
So then how can we utilize this knowledge? Okay, so we know each tarot card has an astrology correlation. How can we use that as we're drawing cards? And how can we use that as we're maybe looking at our charts too?
I think that one way to do that is if you're pulling cards for a reading and you see a lot of one suit or a lot of one, not just like one element, but a lot of Virgo cards or something like that, then you can start to apply not just the idea that maybe there's a Virgo involved here, which is totally possible, but also that like Virgo energy is involved. Like maybe there's a perfectionist thing going on, or maybe there's this sense of, duty or charity going on that this person feels like they have to fulfill. So like responsibility and things like that. So it's helpful in the sense that it gives you like a guideline when you're looking at a spread and there's lots of cards and you're like, oh my God. Especially if there are some tricky cards in there. Like I'm just trying to think of one. Like Three of Swords is so easy, but but some people might not understand, Eight of Pentacles, like so random. What does that mean? And so if you remember, this format and you apply it to the zodiac sign, that can help you learn the meanings a little bit better or in a different way. Additionally, I think like what I did with the book, if you take all of your signs cards and all of your partner's cards or whatever, and you put them together, you can start to see the differences, the compatibility, points, or the challenging points that would make or break the relationship, or make it harder, or make it easier. You can start to see power dynamics. There's all sorts of stuff. And if you do spreads with those cards too, it's just like blows your mind.
Wow. Yeah. I had never considered that as opposed to a composite or a synastry chart.
It is kind of like that, but cards.
Yes. Oh, that's fantastic. That's definitely something I'm going to have to try for myself. I love that. Oh, so then tell me, what is your favorite like tarot and astrology connection? What's your jam?
My favorite tarot and astrology connection. I really like the idea that the planets are in the majors. But I also, if we're talking about like specific cards, I have it. Oh my God, that's so weird. I was like, please pull the Lovers card. And then I did. I just like picked up the deck and I was like, where is it? And here it is. Okay. Anyway, so I really enjoy the Lovers, specifically for Gemini, not only because it talks about like partnership and stuff and the duality between like me and you, but it talks about like mind connection too, because the Lovers is like just that feeling, that like intuitive moment where you're like, I see you, like third eye, our third eyes are connecting. And I just feel like that's what the Lovers is. And, Gemini is so like mental and stimulated. So I find that one kind of cool. I also love that Judgment is Pluto's card. That one's a good one too. That makes a lot of sense for me.
Why does that make a lot of sense to you?
Just Judgment is so difficult. It's like, I like to think of Judgment like you're being forced to look in the mirror and see the gross parts of yourself that you have yet to honor, respect, or find closure with. And when it's upright, it means like you're actively taking on your shadow self and whatever. And when it's reverse, it's like something happened and you need to know this. So Pluto is kind of like that, where it's dark. It's a darker side of you. And when it's making like a square aspect or something to some part of your chart, that's like Judgment reversed, where it's like, hey, ouch, like that hurt, but I now have to think about it. Unfortunately, I've been like, repressing it forever, and now it's up in my face. So I find that Judgment is so hard, and so is Pluto. Pluto's also so hard. And they resonate together with me, I think. And that could be one way that an astrologer might learn more about tarot. Because Judgment can be hard to grasp, It took me a long time to figure out what my interpretation was. But if you know a lot about Pluto, then you can say, okay, how can we connect these two?
Yeah. You really have to spend that time and dive into each element, okay, what's this planet about and what's this card about and where do they overlap and work together? Yeah. And Pluto's a tougher planet in and of itself to interpret, right? So it makes sense that then the Judgment card kind of can
Right.
be tougher to interpret.
That, like, Saturn's the world, and like that's another like, whoa, big one. Whereas, Uranus is pretty kind of, I feel like it's a little bit easier, and it's the Fool. It just makes sense. So, yeah, it's pretty cool.
I am curious how then you consider reversals within tarot and astrology. Is it like reversals are almost like when the planet's retrograde, or is it more like a square or opposition kind of a thing?
Oh, I like 100% associated with retrogrades. Just because oftentimes reversals reflect back onto us. It's not necessarily, you know, there are obstacles that you have to overcome. It's more like, what are the personal obstacles? And how is the theme of this card a personal obstacle for you? And that's what retrogrades do. They act, or they force us to go inward. So the world reversed is kind of like a Saturn return, or like a Saturn retrograde moment where, and I do think returns are to piggyback on that, returns can also be reversals too. But like, the world reversed for me, like when that comes up, it says I have accomplished everything I wanted to accomplish, and yet I'm not happy. And I thought I wanted these things, and I have them, and I'm still uncertain. So where is the disconnect? And Saturn can work like that too, where it's like, here was the structure that I gave myself, and then when you hit your Saturn return, it's like, shit, I don't want any of that anymore. Like, wow, I need to redo my whole life and have a semi midlife crisis. So it's just, yeah, I think that reversals are tough, but they're more inward, just like when planets become more inward.
Yeah, and we're in a period of several planetary retrogrades that are just like increasing with intensity right now. So
Right? Yeah,
I feel like reversals in poles right now would align with that energy a lot.
totally. And it's hard because reversals are like, do better. Like, just like see this better. And you're like, well, I can't. I mean, it's hard to just rewire your brain, but it takes time. That's the problem. And that's what, and especially with the outer planets all retrograde, like this is a time moment. We must wait until like December when all of them are back into normal. And in addition, I mean, I just want to say, in addition to all the outer planets being retrograde, Chiron's about to go retrograde too. And that's like that's also stop, wait, heal, and it's just seems like a lot.
Yeah, well, at the same time, like feeling this burning, passionate desire to do something.
Right. When you can't, or you're being blocked or something, it's forcibly making you sit and reflect, sit and wait. The sit and waiting game, like do but wait.
Right. And we're all feeling that, I think, this summer and fall. And then once we, like you said, we get into 2023, the game changes a little bit.
Yeah. Hopefully.
It's always exciting. I always like to say we don't live in a bubble. No tarot card draw spread you pull, or no astrological reading you do has happened just in this moment, right? It's everything before it and everything that's coming after as well.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And you just have to go along with the ride, and I think tarot and astrology is a great way to find like comprehension about what's happening in your life, but I don't think it's something that we should be living by like every day to day necessarily, because it can be detrimental, to your own like free will and help and self-help and self-worth, and you just gotta live with the universe, live with the signs.
I love that. Oh, thank you so much for being here today, Maisy. We are thrilled to learn more from you because you are our August guest in the Ritual Society. In the meantime, where can people find you?
Yes, I have a website. It's www.tarotbymaisy.com, and then I have Twitter and Instagram with the same handle, Tarot by Maisy, and you can find me there. find my deck, find me, find information. Go for it.
Follow for the book that's coming in 2023 as well, right?
Yeah.
Amazing. Oh, Maisy, I can't wait to hear more about tarot and astrology in August with you in the Ritual Society. In the meantime, thanks so much for being here today, and we will see you soon.
Okay, thank you for having me.
Mhm.
See you later.